Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Zenless and you're watching Zenless Guy TV. For today's episode, I wanted to talk about gacha spending and the 4 rules that I closely follow. But first, a disclaimer. Gacha games can and should be enjoyed completely free to play whenever possible. It's so important to be aware of the predatory practices gacha games use to get us to spend. Things like FOMO and showing something like a deal 690% off can trick us into making impulsive decisions. So when in doubt, don't spend. These are just the rules I follow to keep me in check. Maybe you'll end up adopting some of these rules for yourself, or maybe you already have your own. I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Rule number 1. Only buy the $5 monthly pass. If you're anything like me, I play 5 different gacha games. And yes, I do tend to buy the monthly pass for all of them. In the past, I used to buy both the battle pass and monthly pass, but I realized the battle pass just isn't worth it. No matter how I try to justify it, I just don't believe it's worth the cost. And the $5 monthly pass is one of the least offensive ways to spend your money while also supporting the game, at least in my opinion. These rules won't necessarily apply to all gacha games. For the 5 gacha games that I played, they all have some type of monthly pass, but I'm sure not all of them do, so if your game doesn't, skip this rule. Rule number 2. Never spend money within the first 24 to 48 hours of a new banner's release. This rule is definitely a game changer for me. Typically, whenever a new character comes out, if it's something that I'm interested in, I tend to make impulsive decisions when the banner releases. There's something about having this shiny new character as soon as it releases that makes me want to spend unnecessarily, and that has to stop. So I've decided I need to make sure I give myself at least 1 to 2 days without summoning before I decide whether or not I think it's worth it to spend anything at all. At least in my case, if I give myself at least 1 to 2 days, it allows the exciting feeling to fade so that I'm less likely to make an impulsive decision. It also gives me time to test out the character long enough to really decide whether I want it or not. Most of the time, unless it's a character I really like, I usually just end up skipping it. Banners typically last at least 20 to 22 days, so realistically you could even wait until the very last day of the banner to make a decision on whether you want it or not. That would be ideal. Don't let the FOMO get the best of you, and just because the character is new doesn't mean you have to have it. Thankfully, rerun banners do exist, so if you miss the character on the first release, just wait until the next one. It's better than opening your wallet. Rule number 3. Never build pity. Building pity is such a dangerous game. I know, I've done it before. And I'm sure like many of you who've done the same, you've accidentally ended up getting a character that you had no intention of summoning for, or even worse, you lost the 50-50 to a character that you never wanted to see. One of the appeals of playing gacha games is the gambling aspect of it. So sometimes you get enough gems to summon, you might be tempted to do so, even if the banner is something you have no interest in. But when trying to avoid spending, you have to be way more strategic with how you spend your currency. Maybe this is a conspiracy theory, but I truly believe that some gacha games artificially create a lack of content so that players are more likely to spend whatever gems that they have, just so that they can do something in the game. And what I really mean is that I found that sometimes I summon for characters that I don't love, but also don't hate, just so that way I can build them and play the game while there's no events going on. Some games are drier than others, and I find that the ones that have the least amount of events are the ones that I'm more inclined to randomly pull on. For the most part, gacha games don't have highly sought after 4 stars. Genshin has a couple 4 stars that are relevant in the meta, but for the most part, the other ones don't. So unless it's a 4 star you really want, I would recommend avoiding building pity at all costs. I would hate to win the 50-50 on a character I never truly wanted to begin with. Rule number 4. Don't ever top up unless the bonus is available. This rule is pretty self-explanatory. The thing is, these gacha games do a horrible job of giving you great value for the money that you're spending. I'm sure you've seen the ridiculous prices and the lack of currency you receive for the money that you're spending. In a game like Zenless Zone Zero and Genshin, the prices are $99 for 6,480 gens plus 1,600 when there's no top-up bonus. That's only enough for 50 pools. That's not even enough to guarantee one single character, let alone their weapon, which I won't even talk about that. On average, players probably spend anywhere from 70 to 90 pools just for that alone. You're looking to spend at least 150, maybe 200, and that's just not worth it. And also, that's not including whether or not you lose the 50-50 and have to hit pity again. Even when the top-up bonus exists, the value isn't that much greater. With the top-up bonus, instead of just getting 50 pulls, you're getting a whopping 81. The only way that I would see that as kind of worth it is if you've already lost your 50-50 and just need enough pools to hit pity. But even then, is it really worth spending $100? Is that character really worth it? In games like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, and Zenless Zone Zero, you can see just how much your dollar gets you. And it even shows you how much the maximum is that you would need to spend in order to guarantee a character. And that could cost up to $475. In no world is that worth it. None of these characters are worth that price tag. Here's the thing. At least for me, I spend on these games because it brings me a lot of enjoyment. So whenever I spend money on this game, not only is it a way of me showing appreciation for the game and trying to keep it alive, but it's also my way of investing in my hobby and investing in a thing that I enjoy doing on my time off. But the reality is that this game can be enjoyed free to play. Someone out there is going to spend, it doesn't have to be you. But if you do spend, hopefully you have your own rules and your own limitations so that you're not spending irresponsibly. Let me know in the comments below. Do you have any rules that you follow, or are you completely free to play? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Zenless out.